wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't even...
Hey y'all, how we doing? It's your boy Dereck, 2 Titles, back at it again with episode 64 of the Fourth Down Forum podcast. Now, what are we going to be covering on episode 64 of the Fourth Down Forum podcast, you may ask? Well, obviously, as y'all can tell, I got the undisputed WWE title right here. I got my personal title, favorite title of all time, Big Gold right here. Got the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes shirt. I don't know if y'all can tell in the background, but we got some WWE wrestling, you know, the Lita autobiography, WWE 2K25. This is going to be your Saturday night main event recap video. Now, why is it going to be a recap video? Your boy did not get a chance to do a prediction video. By the time I realized what time Saturday night main event was, you know, that's on me. There wasn't enough time to record, sit down, edit, things of that nature. Going forward, we will be better with that. I am already working on the Money in the Bank prediction video. There's also other wrestling events, and that's probably going to be a good amount of content that's going to be on the channel for a little bit because that's what's in season right now. So I know we'll get to what else in a minute, but let's start with I'm going to put these down because for those of you who know, the titles tend to be heavy. I was about to say. So, we start things off with the team of Braun Breaker, Seth Rollins versus CM Punk and Sami Zayn, which I thought it was a little weird that they did CM Punk, Sami Zayn. Not that they don't gel well or whatever, but I figured the big marquee match with Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins would be against CM Punk and Roman Reigns, because the last we saw Roman, him and CM Punk were taken out on the Raw after WrestleMania by Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins. So the match was dope. I enjoyed it. You know, a lot of heavy hitting, things of that nature. Like I said, CM Punk and Sami Zayn gelled well. The match and attire thing was cool. You know, tag team solidarity. But they were not the ones to win this match. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker were the ones to win this match. And how did they win this match? They won this match via a returning Brig Bronson Reed. Now, Bronson Reed allied himself with Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker. And to me, I found this a little odd at first because I was like, the last time Braun Breaker and Seth Rollins had any interaction, Braun Breaker was beating the crap out of Seth Rollins, hitting him with like 9 tsunamis. It will be interesting to see where this goes going forward, though. I have seen people online, they said, hey, this group should be called Revolution as a play on, the old Evolution group that consisted of Batista, Triple H, Randy Orton, and Ric Flair. I'm not opposed to that. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. At the time of this recording, Seth Rollins has qualified for the men's Money in the Bank match. So that's where he'll be on that card, where Braun and Bronson Reed will be. Who can tell? Maybe they'll be competing for the Intercontinental title. Maybe they'll be going after the tag titles. Time will tell. So we go from that match to the lone women's match on the card. And this being the lone women's match on the card didn't do it justice. One, It got announced the night before Saturday Night Main Event. So on the SmackDown before that, it got announced that it was going to happen. Then the match itself only got 5 minutes. I believe Zelina Vega hit Chelsea Green with a code red, and that's how the match was won. The good news, the women's division, give me just a second here, y'all. The women's division, or the women's roster, I should say, is getting Evolution 2. So that will be an all-women's pay-per-view. So, you can't sit there and be like, there's not enough time on the card for this, that. Showcase maybe, the women that haven't been featured prominently. I've been on record. I love Rhea Ripley as a wrestler. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers, but it doesn't always have to be Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan. Maybe that's just me, but, Anyways, after this match, and the other thing, actually, before we get into the next segment, the women's U.S. title or mid-division title roster, it's kind of lacking at the moment, wouldn't you say? Because I believe the only people who really compete for the title are Zelina Vega, Chelsea Green, and Michin. Anyways, I digress. On to the next segment, and this was either the John Cena R-Truth match or it was the Damian Priest Drew McIntyre steel cage match. So I'm just going to say it in the order that I just said. If I'm wrong, hey, my fault. So, the John Cena R-Truth match. For those of you who don't know how this match came about, the pay-per-view before, at Backlash, R-Truth interfered in the Randy Orton-John Cena match. Helped John Cena retain the title. John Cena was in the post-presser. He was like, okay, I need to, maybe, give you some more of my time, be respectful to the reporters. R-Truth comes out of nowhere and is like, man, I'm so proud of you, da-da-da-da-da. Even if they say you can't wrestle, this, that, and the other. John Cena stands up and is like, Ron, addresses him by his first name. You say one more word, there will be consequences. He says one more word and gets put through the table with an AA for his trouble. Now, this is not the first time that John Cena and R-Truth have had a one-on-one match. The only difference, this time the title wasn't on the line. And the other difference, because there was actually two differences, R-Truth portrayed the role of heel in that 2011 match, and Cena portrayed the role of a face. And this was at Capital Punishment, I believe in Washington, D.C. in 2011. Fast forward however many years later, we get that same match, roles are reversed. R-Truth comes out as Ron Cena. So he's like the good side of John Cena, trying to bring him back, to the good side. Hits John Cena with his moveset. John Cena gets the title belt, acts like he's going to hit R-Truth with it. Looks like he's showing remorse. He's not. Because as soon as the ref takes the title, John Cena hits R-Truth with a low blow, attitude adjustment, 1, 2, 3, and that match is over. Now, then we get into the steel cage match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. And these two have been feuding for a while. So I believe this is the end of the feud, or it should be. Because you can go back all the way to WrestleMania 40. And there's ties of, hey, these guys have a history. Because, remember, the WrestleMania 40 main event, or one of the events, it was Drew McIntyre. It might not have been the main event. It might have been the opener. Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Drew McIntyre won that match. But he was feuding with CM Punk at the time. Punk was injured at the time. Punk still kicked dude's ass. I'm just going to put it like it is. Damian Priest cashed in the briefcase on Drew McIntyre. Then we fast forward to the Elimination Chamber from this past year. Who eliminated Drew McIntyre? Damian Priest. So, they had a little back and forth. I believe Drew won the other couple of matches. So, and also another thing, the steel cage match should have went on last. That should have been the main event, or at least in my opinion, the cage match should have been the main attraction, the main event, But nonetheless, it was still a great match. I enjoyed it. Damian Priest picked up the win, like I said. It was funny to see Jesse the Body Ventura losing his mind over how Damian Priest won the cage match, because he just walked out the door. He was like, you could just walk out the door. You should have to climb, or you should have to pin the guy. But no, that he walked out the door. But not before delivering a couple of concertos to Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre will probably be off WWE television for the foreseeable future. I believe he's battling some nagging injuries at the moment, so we wish him all the best and wish him a speedy recovery. Then we get the interaction between your two world champions. The World Heavyweight Champion in Jey Uso, or Main Event Jey Uso, I should say, and the WWE Undisputed Champion in John Cena. So they go in a little bit of back and forth. Jey Uso is like, John Cena, the last time I saw you, I eliminated you from the Royal Rumble. John Cena pretty much hits him with, hey, da-da-da-da-da, watch your back, ruin wrestling, implying that he might help Logan Paul and the title might end up on Logan Paul's waist by the end of the night. Did that happen? No, it didn't. Because what happened is the match went on, Logan Paul, Jey Uso wrestled for a little bit. I believe the ref took a bump, if I'm not mistaken. John Cena comes down to the ring, interferes, and you think, oh, this is it. Jey Uso's about to lose the title to a YouTuber. Which, let's put the brakes on that. Yes, Logan Paul did get his career, Vine, YouTube. The dude can wrestle. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You may not like the guy, but the dude can wrestle. But no, because who made their return? The American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And he laid down the gauntlet after he helped Jey Uso. So Jey Uso is still the world champion. But Cody Rhodes, after he helped, fend off Cena and Logan Paul, made the challenge, Money in the Bank. John Cena, Logan Paul, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso. Crazy thing about this is both champions in a tag team match. I feel like whoever wins Money in the Bank, that person is going to cash in on one of the champions. So we'll see how that plays out. As of the time of this recording, though, the Money in the Bank field is, for the men's Money in the Bank at least, is Penta, Seth Rollins, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight. It's a 6-man ladder match, I believe, for Money in the Bank. So there's 2 spots left to fill. I could see CM Punk getting one of them. Maybe Carmelo Hayes from SmackDown, and that might be your field. A lot of people were saying give Karrion Kross a chance. I would not be against that. He's been doing phenomenal work, promos. His merch is moving, so definitely a guy to keep your eye on. Now, that's my thoughts, whatnot, on Saturday night's main event. I thought it was a great show. It wasn't one of the higher ones where it's like, oh, this is a Mania, a SummerSlam, a Rumble. But it did feel like a pay-per-view this go around and not just a glorified house show. So I will say that. Now, let's talk about things coming to the channel. Wrestling is kind of the one that's heavy right now because it's always going to be in season because they always got events and stuff going on. The Evolution Women's pay-per-view I talked about. I do want to get into covering women's sporting events, things of that nature. Because I checked my analytics the other day. Most of this is, male audience, which makes sense because it's sports. Not everybody likes sports. Not saying women don't, because there's a lot of women who do. Hell, my mom's the one who taught me about Trent Dilfer being the Ravens quarterback. I didn't know about that when I was younger, and I was so set in my ways. I was like, he was never the quarterback, and boy, did she prove me wrong. But anyways, I would like to make this a bit more diverse, But, Evolution is a women's pay-per-view, like I said, so I will try to cover that. That'll probably be the first thing that kicks off us covering women's sports or things of that nature. The NFL, I believe, is starting organized team activities. I don't think we're at mini camp, or we're definitely not at training camp yet. Training camp isn't until July. So for that, you'll probably see me in a lot more Ravens gear. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, that's my team. I won't be doing full long form podcast videos. I'll probably do a short that's like anywhere between a minute to 3 minutes. Hey, here's the highlights, here's the lowlights from day one of organized team activities, things of that nature. Now, when we get to training camp, I might turn that into a whole series because, you know, that's right when we're right there for football. Which, let me tell y'all, I've been working on the pick'ems for this season. And no, I haven't been sitting there like, oh, I know the Ravens play Buffalo week 1. We're going to kick their ass. No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I've been getting the layout for each week since the schedule's already out there. And shout out ESPN, because ESPN has it week by week to where it tells me, hey, these are all the games that are going on week 1, week 2, week 3. So I believe I'm up to week 7 on the layout. Before we even get into, you know, week 1, I will have the pick'ems layouts for the regular season ready to go. Your AFC and NFC prediction podcast, those will be happening closer to end of preseason going into beginning of season. Your NBA Finals episode, I'm not going to guarantee you 100% that I'm going to be able to do that. I am going to try my best to do that. You know, I believe the Eastern and the Western Conference Finals are going on right now. We'll see what the matchup is. If I get time to do it, I will try my best to, but if not, please try not to hold that against me. Give me 1 second. What else? So football, baseball. If I do anything for baseball, it will be once we get into the All-Star game. But honestly, the O's are depressing me. They're on a win streak right now, though. So hey, anything can happen. And then once the college football rankings, you know how they drop the pre-rankings or whatever they call it, I will do a video on that. And then, you know, Heisman hopefuls, things of that nature. And like I said way back when, we're going to be doing college pick'ems on top of NFL pick'ems this year. So you'll be getting, come fall, you'll be getting 2 episodes a week. And, you know, I'll work with the algorithm, see what day probably works best for like peak YouTube engagement and go from there. But other than that, you know, we are currently sitting at 292 subscribers. So the channel's been growing. I appreciate that. You know, I've said it before and I will say it until I can't say it anymore. This is what I want to make a career out of. This is what I want to do going forward with my life. This is started out as a passion project, but this is my dream, man. This is what I want to do. So, you know, I keep putting content out. Y'all enjoy it. That works. So I appreciate y'all being here. I do want to remind y'all that once we get to 500, so 500 subs, we will be doing the second giveaway on this channel. That will be the winner getting a mini helmet of either their favorite collegiate or NFL team. Other than that, appreciate the love, appreciate the support. Make sure y'all follow me on all the socials. We are now over on Facebook as well. 4th Down Forum for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, TikTok. 4th Down Forum is what you can find us on. Much love, appreciate it, and I will see y'all here for episode 65.
Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces.